Well, okay, we'll get started with today's call. I want to welcome everybody to Code Ninja's CEO call with David Graham. My name is Marty Flanagan. I am the Vice President of Franchise Development with Code Ninjas. Just to kind of give everybody a layout of today's call, we're going to hear from David Graham, the founder and CEO of Code Ninjas. We're also going to have a question and answer part of our call. And to do that, being that you're muted, you just need to hit *6, and that'll allow you to kind of like virtually raise your hand and be able to chime in and ask a question during that time. And again, that would be *6. So just to kind of give everybody an idea of who we are and what we're about, Code Ninjas, we teach kids how to code through playing video games. David Graham came up with this great idea. He's not new to coding. He's not new to development. He actually ran a school that taught adults how to code for 5 years and operated in 18 different cities. He's been a coder and developer his whole life. He's also been an entrepreneur. He's ventured way outside of the coding and development world and has been in the fitness franchising world and experienced some success there, and then kind of brought all that back together and started Code Ninjas from his franchising experience, from his Coder Camp days of running that company, being the CEO for 5 years, and like I said, operating in 18 different cities, experiencing great success, and then seeing the value of bringing this to the younger generation. So I'll let David Graham take it from here. And again, during the question and answer time, it's *6 because you are muted. David?
Thank you, Marty. So as Marty said, we had an opportunity over the last few years to work with adults, and there wasn't a week that went by that we didn't hear from parents and just people in the communities that we were servicing that the kids really would enjoy the same kind of environment. Can my 8-year-old come and do this because all he does is ever spend time on his tablet? Can my 12-year-old come and learn how to code because I want him to learn how to do this when he goes into high school? And that's really where, how this grew organically. It was just from a need expressed in the marketplace. So when we had the opportunity to sell Coder Camps last year, it was kind of a no-brainer where we were going to go next. Me and Bert and the rest of the team kind of sat around and said, what are we going to do, now, and how can we impact the most people using the skills that we have? So what we did was we brought together the best educators that we could find from our Coder Camps days and the best franchising people we could find from my previous experience in franchising. And really the things just gelled almost immediately. It was, as an entrepreneur, you usually have to kind of, beg people to come work for your idea or your vision and really convey that message. And this was different. I could tell from the very beginning that this was different. Everybody that I spoke with to a person was like, man, that is a really good idea. How can I be a part of it? How can I jump on board? So that was super exciting for us early on. We spent the next 9 months or so building out the curriculum, building out the tools, building out the engine that really makes this thing hum. And from the get-go, we knew from my previous experience as a franchisee that we wanted to make sure that this was a franchisee support system, not a franchisor that sits on the mountaintop, but really dedicated from the ground up, from every part of our processes and our culture to being a franchisee support system. And so that's what we did. We worked really hard on things like Code Ninja University, on videos, on training materials, all kinds of stuff on the curriculum, making it self-paced and how that works. So everything we did was to make sure that the franchisees can be successful in the end. I'll get more into that support in just a second, but we have a special guest with us today. Shauna Garner is our director of the Pearland location, and I asked her to come on the call to just kind of go over a little bit what it is that she does on a day-to-day basis, because I think it's super important for you guys to get a perspective of what it takes to get that done. Shauna, are you there?
I'm here, yes. Hi, everyone.
Great. Can you just give us a little bit of a rundown of what you do on a day-to-day basis, and what's it been like to start up your own center there?
It's been fantastic. And part of that, a huge part of that, is the interaction with the children and the families. You know, it's not often that you have the opportunity to be a part of something that's so special, where you can really see the difference that you're bringing to the community. And so, you know, my days typically, I get to watch and enjoy the time with the children. They love coming into the center. They have a fantastic time while they're here. They're excited. They're learning. I'm interacting with mom and dad or another family member and finding out what the feedback is, how much time they're enjoying it. When they're home, they're eager to go back and also show what they've done. They constantly want to talk about it. They can't wait to come back to Code Ninjas. And so that is automatically reassurance that you know that you are creating an opportunity and a really special environment for families.
Okay, great. I really appreciate that. And now Shauna does have to get going. She's got a set of franchisees from Shreveport that were on the call last week in the center right now. I'm excited to get a look around, so she's got to go play host. So thank you for joining the call, though. So just to kind of piggyback on what she was saying, it really is a blessing to be in the environment every day, because, you know, so often kids that are doing an extracurricular activity like, you know, guitar lessons or whatever it is, they get in and then, you know, they think it's going to be fun, and then it just becomes like a job or a chore for them, and parents have to push them into going. What we're seeing is we're talking to kids at their level. What we did was we investigated what would kids have fun doing. And obviously, all the kids are playing video games. Even when I was a little kid, we were playing video games. So, but it was more than that. We didn't want them just to play games. What we did was we went back and we said, what if you could build your own games? What if you could use some tools and drag and drop it first, but then get into some real code and build some really cool and creative games? And that just really set it off into a different, awesome direction for the kids. And so our objective, and you know, it's our core principle, is the kids have to have fun. Every day, this isn't a classroom, this isn't a lecture, we don't have teachers. We have a game development room. We have helpers or coaches that help the kids through their building their games, their ideas. Yes, we give them a little bit of help on an idea department. Yes, we kind of lead them to the water. But at the end of the day, every game that they build is different, unique, and they can be proud of it. You know, right now we're going through a time where we allow our students to come 2 times a week for about an hour. Well, we're getting feedback from the parents like, you know, he really wants to come 3 days a week or even more if you'll let him. So we're building into our program in a way that they can go on an accelerated path. And that's the great thing about our program, is that everything is so self-paced, and we're just there to help them on their journey. It doesn't matter if they get done in 3 years or 4 years. You know, it's all the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to add $50 to our normal pricing, let them come 3 days a week. We're meeting their need and their expectation. Now, the other side of that is, you know, I was a Taekwondo parent. My oldest son, Parker, went through Taekwondo, and he got pretty good, you know, as far as the belts were concerned. He got up to something like red belt, and he was kind of proud of that. But during that 2 or 3 year expedition that we went through, I felt like the parents were kind of treated like second-rate citizens in that whole environment. I was sitting on a hard bench. It was super loud in there. The Wi-Fi never worked properly. They didn't have anything for me to drink, or, you know, it's, I think, an hour of sitting there basically with nothing to do, you know, and you do that 2 or 3 times a week, that becomes a little bit, I won't say a challenge, but you just don't enjoy yourself very much every single day. So what I said whenever I wanted to do Code Ninjas, let's take care of the parents. So what does that mean? Well, when I was in Taekwondo, he would do these kicks, and they would look a little more complicated, but I didn't know really if he was getting better at them or not. So I never knew what the results were. So when he got the red belt and he kind of wanted to fade out and didn't want to go through the next year to finish black belt, I never had a reason to keep him in there. I didn't see the results of what he was doing. All those kicks kind of looked the same to me, to be honest, along that whole thing. And the same thing will happen here. So we took on the second part of our core, which is the parents need to see the results. And so we do that in a few different ways. we do that through talking to the parent. How do they want to see the results of what their kids are doing? Do you want to get an email that updates you on how your kid is progressing through the program and how the games that he's building are applicable to his journey? Do you want to just talk to us every day as he leaves the center and we go over what he did today and how that works? So we get a feedback loop going with the parents early, let them know that their time is important for us, and we want them to be an active participant in the whole process. That means that we gave them comfy couches, free coffee and water, a nice big screen TV, USB plugs to plug in their tablets and devices. We brought in, Legos and tablets for their little kids that can't quite make it into Code Ninjas yet to hang out in the lobby with them and give them something to do. We thought through all the problems that parents are going to have as well with this. And one of the biggest things that we did that they love is that we let them come through the drop-in program pretty much any time from 3 to 7. So their schedule is wide open. So, glorified taxi services that parents are sometimes, we usually get ourselves in a bind on what the kids can and can't do, and because everything's kind of scheduled the same time. We let them come in whenever they want to, do the self-paced program, have the help that you need, and then, work it out in your schedule, on your terms. So combining all of these things, what the kids want to do with what the parents, 90% of parents believe their kids should learn how to code for the careers of the future, by combining the want with the need, we really are hitting a sweet spot in our journey here. So to get back a little bit on how we bring that vision, that's my vision for our company, how we get that vision implemented. Like I said earlier, we are really a franchisee support company. That's Code Ninjas Universities. That's one-on-one manager coaching. That's having a designated support representative for your facility so they can have access to someone if they have a question, whenever they have a question. Video training, communications tools, attending the grand opening. When I was a franchisee, one of the biggest things that I always said, and I heard it constantly, was nobody ever came to my center. Nobody ever came in from corporate and said, doing a great job here. You might want to look at this. It could be even better. I wanted that feedback, and I wanted to be able to share my experience with the corporate office. And so we made a dedicated promise that we're going to come to those grand openings. We're going to be a part of your center as much as you'd like us to be. And, if you're good where you are, great. If you want us to be a little more proactive in your world, great. Let us know. Let us know how we can help you be the best franchisee possible. So let's talk just a second about our growth plan. And let me just tell you, the last 2 weeks have been amazing. Okay, so I think whenever you start these things, you never know exactly if everybody's going to pick up your vision. The last 2 weeks have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that this is going to be huge. We have seen so many people excited about our vision and our company in Code Ninjas. What that means is that we planned this year to have 20 franchisee centers sold. I seriously think we might hit that goal this month. It's like that. So if you're in a really tight market, you might want to consider expediting, getting your territory, because it is going like gangbusters right now. I'm going to introduce now one of our latest franchisees. Kevin is in the Dallas market. His wife, Michelle, and him are super excited to get started. He just got started yesterday, so it's super new. But Kevin, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, Kev, can you go ahead and just talk about your experience a little bit? Why did you choose Code Ninjas over the other options, and let everybody know?
Sure. I by way of a little bit of background, I actually come from a technology background, and my hobby as a kid was coding, and that eventually turned into a full-blown path through my education and into my professional career, and all the way from being a developer all the way up to being a management, senior management function within corporate entities, both public and private. And so the technology was a component that was immediately attractive because I am familiar with it. The goals for my wife and I were we wanted to diversify our assets a little bit, and we always wanted to own our own business and be, more entrepreneurial in nature. So we're having a change in season at the moment where we're about to be an empty nester, so we thought this was a really good time. And so in doing some research, actually was led to the concept of Code Ninjas through a Google search. It was almost by accident, but I was looking for the business and found the group and thought, oh, this looks very interesting. And the more I dug into it, the more I really was intrigued. So, pretty much over a period of about 3 to 4 weeks, the process went from this looks like a neat idea to, signing a franchise agreement. And I like that it's focused on learning, and I think learning is a key part of it. It's not teaching, it's learning, and that stays with the kids as opposed to just say they got some instruction. I also like the fact that we're kind of molding some of the next generation of problem solvers, and if you're in the business world, if you're trying to hire people, that's one of the greatest challenges. Can they communicate and can they actually solve problems? And I think that's just excellent that we have the opportunity to do that. And at the same time, we're having fun. So that was one of the key parts, is that we wanted to have fun while we were doing it.
Great, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Are you going to be on the call in case somebody has a quick question for you or something?
I do have a little bit of time, yes.
Okay, great. And I have to get out of here at about 10 till 12 today. So we're probably on the same similar schedule. So, well, I appreciate that, Kevin. And, Kevin's story is a little bit different than yours, I'm sure. But, he got aggressive. He went for it, and he pulled the trigger on his markets because he saw the value and getting it done early. One of the coolest things you can do in a franchise world is get to cherry pick your territories, and that's what's wide open right now for the most part. It's going to be filling up quicker and quicker. That's just the way this works. So if you're in a market that you think is going to be hotly contested, it's in your best interest to secure those territories, especially the ones that are kind of, just obviously a great place to be. Those are going to go quick the more we go down this path. And so I'm going to go ahead and open it up to some Q&A. Like Marty said, if you want to ask me a question, you can raise your hand by hitting *6, and it looks like Kevin's going to be able to stick around, and maybe you can ask him a question or two, too. All right. Hi, go ahead and state your name and where your territory is going to be.
Hi, my name is Swapna. I'm from Plano, Dallas area. We would be interested in looking into somewhere near the DFW area. So I have a couple of questions. We are from a family of engineers and software engineers. When I looked up the information, I did not get a chance to review. I saw a lot of cool way you're presenting the software, like gaming, Scratch programming, and some kind of Minecraft. Those will be catered for the younger audience. However, what kind of coding programs do you have for high school age kids? Like, who would be your typical audience kids would be?
Sure, that's a great question. So right now, our core target is going to be 7 to 14-year-olds. So we're actually not targeting high school kids at this time. That's definitely something that we're going to be bringing to the table in our adult program as well. But right now, we really think that there's a pent-up demand for the younger kids, and that's going to be our sweet spot. Right now, our average age at our center is about 9.5, so in the 9 to 10 range.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I have a couple of more questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So are these hours that a franchisee has, are those self-paced, or do you have how can you walk us through Kevin's day? How does it work? Are those like evening hours, or how do you dictate this?
Sure.
Hours of how?
So so you're going to be super flexible there. Every center is going to have a little bit different market conditions and things like that. So we want you to be in control. It's your company, and we can give recommendations, and we're there to support you. But at the end of the day, setting these times and these hours is going to be up to you. Here's what we do in the summertime. In the summertime, we have summer camps going on during the day, so those start at 8 o'clock. If the half-day program ends at 12 o'clock, the full-day program ends at 4 o'clock. So we let parents know that the full-day program and the half-day program are exactly the same thing. They just get to hang out a little bit longer in the afternoon and play games or work on their games or whatever they want to do. The drop-in program at our center is year-round, and we don't change the times right now. We say 3 to 7 on the times. So they can come in anytime they want to for the drop-in program between 3 and 7 o'clock.
Thank you. And if I don't mind, one last question, probably two. So how long does it take for a franchisee for business to break even, including a personal salary, or if I need to talk to them?
So there is one cardinal rule that I cannot break, and that is I can't talk about the income line, anything that's not in the FDD. So unfortunately, a break even would be a proportion of the income for your center, and that's just one cardinal rule I cannot break. Okay, so what I would recommend is you look at the FDD, break down what our pace was, and then apply that to your market. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Yes, it does. And I heard great things about the best part of owning franchise. Being a software developer, I understand the beauty about kids learning this world. One other question is, what's the challenging part of owning this franchise, or what are the things that you see that we could do an improvement, or where do you see the opportunities are?
Oh, there's tons of opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next questioner, but there's tons of opportunities out there for us to grow, if that's what you mean. So the challenges are going to be like any business. I mean, finding the right people is going to be super important for you early on, and we've built in Code Ninjas University all the ways that we found our great team. The challenge for you is going to find location at first. That's going to be one of your first challenges. It's key and critical that you're in a high exposure, high foot traffic area. But one of the cool things about being in a franchise and being a franchisee is that we have a team here that really does augment anything that you may find challenging. So if you find it really challenging interviewing or finding the right people, we've got someone on our team that's going to fill those gaps for you. If you find technology super intimidating, well, you know what? We've got some pretty amazing technologists on our team that can help you out. So, being in a franchise as a partnership, we see it as, whatever you do really well, we want you to be thriving in that space. But whatever you might have some challenges with, that's where we come in to fill the gap. Okay? Thank you for the questions. Those were all really great.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm calling from the Boston area. So I've been chatting with Marty quite a bit, and I'm really excited about what you guys have built so far, and the prospects just seem endless. I did have a question about the curriculum. So I was looking at the white belt curriculum and I think the yellow belt, and so at the end of the period, they're supposed to build a game, right? And I see Build Star Invaders, and there's another one that's Build Ninja Defense. And I was just curious if they have options to choose something else. If they didn't want to build Star Invaders, can they do something else? And I ask because girls may not necessarily want to build a game where, you're shooting people and things like that. They may want to build a game that's like paint or something with flowers. So just curious if there's
I completely understand. And our goal is to eventually offer kind of cross-gender game options for exactly what you're talking about. But for this go-round, 70 to 80% of our students are male, so we did kind of target those first. this curriculum, it's a great question, and I have literally 10 people in the queue, so I'm going to go ahead and move on if that's okay. So this curriculum is always being changed. People ask me, is the curriculum done? No, the curriculum is never done. And that's because we live in a technology world that is very fast-paced and things change constantly. We want this to be a living, breathing curriculum. And that's, we're going to be versioning this just ongoing. It will never end. And so that's the beautiful thing about our team is we have plenty of curriculum builders and developers and people that just really know how to hone in on those things. And I fully expect that we will have some, girl featured options in the very near future. That's a great question, though. All right, so we'll move on to the next question here.
Good morning. Thanks for the call. I'm a grandmother who brought my grandson to Pearland every day from Houston and had taken him here from Arlington, Texas, for the camp. He had already experienced, and I didn't know what he'd done before, in Montessori, some of the things that you taught during camp. Is it possible when you're doing things like a camp, knowing that I didn't have a place for him to go on a regular basis back at home for him, I would have loved to have known more about what was going to be covered in camp. Because when he got to JavaScript, he said, I already have been exposed to it, don't like it, and he, had been exposed to most of the thing in the camp, and it was a lot of extra effort on my part to get him here from Dallas and then to drive him every day because I live near the Galleria and drove him to land. I was really interested in helping him learn more. I was one of those hidden figures type women in the 1972 time frame and programmed computers in 1972 at a chemical plant. So just wanted him exposed. He did get exposure, but it would have been very helpful for me to do a real cost justification for the time, not just the time but the money and everything of getting in here.
No, I appreciate that. So let me address kind of the unspoken term there, and I think what it goes to is our summer camps and our ongoing program are two different concepts. So the summer camps are really for an introduction to programming, especially in the JavaScript realm. That is specifically for people who are new to JavaScript. So I apologize if we didn't make that very super clear, but we'll try to give as much information about each of the camps as we possibly can without giving away the secret sauce there. And maybe we can do a little bit better job of conveying that on the phone and in some other ways. But so the summer camps are more electoral as well. So as a drop-in student, you'll be coming in every day for your hour, and it's very self-paced. But the summer camps are very more group exercises, and we go through everything together on the board, and we walk through the program. So I could see how someone who might have a higher level of experience may cover some new material over and over again. But, one of the key parts to being a programmer is that we get a solid base. That's why when people go through the drop-in program, we make sure that they all start at white belt. Even if you've done Scratch before, even if you know JavaScript, we still make you start at white belt because there's foundational information that you need early on. Just like when you do math, you got to learn addition before you learn multiplication or whatnot. We want to make sure that those building blocks are really set in stone early on. But that's a great question. I appreciate it.
Hello, yes. My name is Kevin as well. I'm in Maryland area.
Hi, Kevin.
All right, how y'all guys doing? Pretty much the previous callers are kind of asked some of the questions in which that I had in mind as well. But one of the things that I did have a concern that I was considering is in regards to the curriculum, and you did say that it's always evolving and changing. What is the staffing? Because that's going to affect also too the staffing in regards to your location? What is
it's a great
staffing element? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. That's a great question. So the staff in our centers is totally up to you, first of all. But what we've done in our center is you met Shauna earlier. She's the director of the center, so she does all the hiring, firing, scheduling, and management of the center day to day. But more importantly, she's our face to the community. You know, everybody that meets our center for the first time will probably meet Shauna first. And so that's a key role. That's the one that you just have to make sure is just right. And everybody in the place is important, but they are the front man front woman for the center. And so she's a salaried position. She works full time. She comes in every day from 10 to 7, and she's really our anchor there. Now the other bits are, we like to keep about a 10-to-1 ratio in the classroom. So if you have 20 people, you'll need 2 tutors there on staff at any given time. Those are all part-timers for us. We have one that's kind of a key person that has a key to the building in case, Shauna has to take, half a day off or something like that. She can open up and do that kind of thing. And we pay her just a little bit more than the other staff members, like $12 an hour is what we pay her. Then the other students, the other tutors in the center are about $10 an hour. So that probably gives you a pretty good indication as to, the costs and everything. Just note that the tutors are only work, anywhere from 10 to 25 hours a week. Those are typically high school students. What we did was we went to the robotics club at the school. We found the guys that founded the club that really, they were the high schoolers that I would have hung out with. Just, the outgoing technology guys that really love what they're doing. And it's worked out great. All of their friends joined up, and we have a bench now of about 10 people that are really excited about working there. So what a great question.
Hi, this is Vinod from the Dallas area. Actually, previous question has kind of segued to my question. I wanted to see, it's pretty much self-paced, you said. But are there going to be any instructor-led courses or something that probably at a higher level that kids may be interested in, like Python scripting or anything of that sort?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. Still a lot of questions coming in here. That's great. So there's, at this time, other than the summer camps, which are a little bit more electoral, we don't feel a need for us to add any lecture-based classes. What I will say is we're looking for opportunities to do things and involve parents on the weekends. So like parent tech education where they can know what their kids are getting into online. I've even pitched a couple of plans for building, game cabinets and things like that where we bring the hardware and the software together using some Raspberry Pis and things. Maybe just a build your own computer workshop where a parent and their child can come in and learn what are all the parts inside of a computer, Things like that I think would be more electoral instead of self-paced. What a great question. And this is going to evolve. One of the great things about having a franchise, the more people we get involved, and it's just going to be more ideas added to the pool. And we've set up as part of our support infrastructure a franchise advisory council, and the people who come on early and the early adopters to our program are going to be playing a key and pivotal part of our feedback loop from our franchisees. We'll have regional directors within that franchise advisory council that will take these great ideas, get them to corporate, to the right people in corporate office, and so that we can expand our brand, see what's working, see what's not, and change things as we need to. It's really all about communication and listening to what the market is telling us. Great question.
Hey, Dave, it's Anthony from New Jersey.
Hey, Anthony.
I saw, actually, I think you spoke about it a little bit last week, how you guys have a van that transports students from the school. I was wondering when you guys started doing that. Was it Was it when you first opened up, or was it a few months later? And I'm curious students that got to be enrolled.
Yeah, so we have yet to actually start that program. So what you're talking about is the after school program, and that's where we pick them up from school at or around 3 o'clock, and then they stay with us until closing time. And the reason that we haven't done it in Pearland is because we did some cost factoring in the space. Well, there's two reasons. The first reason is we opened towards the end of the school year, and we didn't want to get that really going until a brand new school year started. But the secondary reason is we looked at the popularity of our drop-in program, and it just went so like wildfire, spread through the community, man. It was just very accepted. We had tons of sign-ups, and we looked at the space in our center and said, we actually make more money if we don't have the after-school program because we have more space for drop-in kids. So every community is going to be a little bit different on what their need is in your market. We offer that after-school care package as a add-on because we feel like, in smaller markets and maybe bigger markets too, if you don't have that kind of resources for parents to take advantage of, it might be a great way to add revenue to your center. But it's going to be a cost analysis and a revenue analysis for each and every center on how you want to, how many kids you want to have in each of those programs. But it's a great question.
Hi there, David. This is Cameron in the Nashville, Tennessee area. And I'm actually in the fitness supplier equipment manufacturing side of things. So out of curiosity, simply because I think it would help me understand where you are coming from in your background, what franchise did you come from in the fitness world?
Well, I never worked for them directly, but I did. I was a franchisee for Anytime Fitness about 10 years ago, I guess now. Yeah, largest franchise gym in the world, I believe. And
yeah. How many
I also built their global
you?
Infrastructure for technology.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps quite a bit. Thank you.
Sure. To answer your second question there, I was a single unit owner.
Hi there, this is Ashish. I'm calling you from Canada. And I'm not sure if you guys have any franchisees or any options to open franchisees in Canada.
Yeah, so I appreciate the question because Marty and Jeff and I were just talking about that this week, actually. We definitely want to be coming up to see our neighbors in the north. It's just a matter of timing and opportunity. If we found somebody that really wanted to take hold of Canada and do a larger scale rollout, I think we would look at it more readily. Right now, the U.S. is our main focus, but if you give me a good excuse to go visit, I'll definitely come and see you. So I think what I'm saying is we don't currently have that in our 1-year plan. But give me some good opportunities, and I think we would take advantage of those. Does that make sense?
It does. I think, it probably needs another call, maybe between me and you, and we can discuss at length, right?
Yeah. You probably need to get in touch with Marty or Jeff first. If you haven't already met our franchise development team, go ahead and reach out to Marty. He's the best person to be the first contact. Okay?
All right. Now so I'll basically go and fill out the application on your website, and then hopefully somebody calls me, right?
That's right. Or you can just email Marty directly at Marty, that's MARTY, at codeninjas.com.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. I will. Thanks.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Bob. I'm calling from Overland Park, Kansas. And so I have a couple of questions. First, I'd like to know a little bit more about the learning experience itself. I heard something about drag and drop, so I'd like to know are the students, just dragging and dropping and connecting predefined objects, or are they actually learning, programming constructs like if then else or do while loops or things like that, or are they exposed to concepts like arrays and how to connect to or use a database type of thing? The second question I have is, I heard, future plans, you're going to be including high school students and maybe adults. I'd be interested in knowing, what kind of future curriculums you plan, because I think it would be interesting to see, some specialized, areas like building and programming a robot or a drone or something like that, which would include maybe some skills that are related to actual future marketable skills. And so whether or not you have plans to kind of like move in that direction, or if it's just going to stay in the, let's just, program some game stuff.
Sure. So I'll address both of those. Thank you for the questions. So just to address it kind of head on, just because we're building games doesn't mean it's all fun and games. I mean, we do make the classroom fun. What they're learning in the classroom from day one is the fundamental principles of programming. Yes, they're dragging around blocks, but at the same time, they're learning Boolean expressions. There's a level where you can teach a kid, a 7-year-old, who probably knows a little multiplication and that kind of thing, but there's a level where they can get really too advanced very quickly. So what we do is we have to talk to them at their level. And that means, they've probably already been introduced to Scratch at some different places. Even, I heard somebody say Montessori school earlier, but it was also, even around here in Texas, we have some schools that are teaching very rudimentary Scratch lessons in their libraries. So what we do is we adopted some Scratch curriculum early on that they are already kind of familiar with, because it's an intimidating environment. We want them to feel comfortable on day one. Very quickly, though, after they go through that program, that little Scratch bit, they go straight into JavaScript. And now, I don't know if you know, but JavaScript is the most prolific language on Earth. It's used in more applications on GitHub and the other repositories than any other language. So being so prolific, being so widely used and spread out on the web application, server side, everywhere, video games, everywhere, we have an opportunity to teach them a real life skill that will go throughout their entire, in their entire life. I understand that it kind of sounds like we're just playing games, and that's the trick, the Jedi mind trick kind of that we're pulling on the kids. But really, at the base of what they're learning, everything they're doing is to set them up for the next set of skills. So other curriculums that are going to come down the pipe, we have a lot of opportunity, but I have to hyper-focus. We have to hyper-focus on teaching one thing and doing it amazing. There's infinite number of things. You mentioned a couple of things, workshops that we could do around, the planes and those kinds of things. We can definitely do that, and that's going to come with time. But right now, we're hyper-focused on teaching kids how to build video games, because that hits them in their sweet spot of what they want. And it is going great right now. But I appreciate the question, and look forward to working with you on some of those ideas in the future.
Hi, I'm Kimberly from the Dallas area. So I have 2 questions for you. What's the average capacity of students per center, and at what rate are students enrolling?
Great question. So the average capacity for students at the center, you mean what's the total number of drop-in students that we could have, or the total number of students that we could have there at the same time?
At the same time.
Okay. At our center there here in Pearland, we have 62 seats for students. And what we're seeing is through the drop-in program, we have about 20% of our drop-in students can show up at the same time. That was the maximum we saw show up at the exact same time. So out of those students, if you extrapolate that 62 out, it looks like we can hit about 310 total students. If we did that, that would just be an amazing feat. And we're shooting for it, trust me. We sign up, just to answer your second question, roughly 1 or 2 students every day in the drop-in program. And we have had, I think, right around 100 sign-ups for our summer camps. I don't know the exact rate for that over the time period, but it's much more popular than we thought it was going to be originally. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and then one more. What kind of marketing are you doing, and how are you marketing? Like, where exactly?
Sure. I appreciate it. I'm going to go to the next caller after this question, though. So the marketing is a great question. We brought on Andy Giefer early on. He's got years of experience working in the social and digital marketing space, and we believe that's where most of our ad dollars should be spent. Our target market to get in front of is going to be moms. Moms usually are kind of the tip of the spear whenever we're looking at extracurricular activities, and so we talk to them in the place where they communicate most often online, and that's going to be in the Facebook and the Twitter and that kind of stuff. So what happens is the day you sign, I just sent out an email today actually. They start setting up. Kevin got his emails telling him he needs to contact Andy Giefer. Andy Giefer is going to get him started with a sub-site on Facebook. So all the social media and everything that we put on a corporate site, it flows straight down to his local branch. Also, you have the opportunity at your local branch, if you have a special event or you want to post a cool video of one of the kids doing their robotics kit or whatever, you can do that. So it gives you the flexibility of both having a full team of experts posting blogs and articles and good content to your feed, but also you get the customization for your local market. It's pretty win-win in that regard. As far as marketing direct spend, we spend about $750 a week on Facebook ads only that are specific for the Pearland Center. And we are getting anywhere from 60 to 100 leads a week for that spend. So I hope that answers your question. And we did do some other things, just so that you know, especially rolling up into our grand opening and promoting our grand opening event. That was super important for us to have a big event that the community could come out to and really get behind. We sat up a table in the movie theater. We sent out door hangers. We sent out mailers and cards, and excuse me. We did a whole lot of different little print ads and coupon books. But the ongoing, the one thing that really makes a difference ongoing is going to be that online digital presence. And we're just seeing that every single day. Something like 85 to 90% of our leads are coming from Facebook right now. So it's been huge for us. But that's a really great question. I appreciate you asking.
Hi, this is Charlene in the Dallas area, and I have two questions. The first is we've talked to Marty, and we know that it's a 3-mile kind of radius to have centers close to each other. Are you able to tell us where Kevin plans to open his in the Dallas area? And the second question is why Code Ninjas over like the Coder School and iCode? What makes Code Ninjas different and better?
Those are both great questions. I will probably let you talk to Marty about exactly your territory, location, and whatnot. He kind of circled the Plano area just to throw out a general terms. So that's kind of his markets that he chose. He chose 4 different markets around there. The size of the market, so whenever we put it down and you're going to build out 4 locations, what we do is we have a development area. That bubble is going to be roughly 3 miles around. Then what that means is you can put your actual physical location anywhere in that bubble, an approved location in that bubble. And then when you actually pinpoint it, when you put the pin in the map of your actual address, then we look at it and we say, how big does this bubble need to be to accommodate this center? And it's going to depend on population density a great deal, but more importantly, affluent kids who can afford our program, basically, in those markets. So we do some analysis of demographics and make sure that you have enough kids to support you, and we come to a consensus between us on how big that bubble should be. All right?
Hi again. It's Ruth from Boston. I just had a question about the computers. So the kids come in with their computers, and all of the curriculum is accessible online. What stops them from going home to finish everything they need to do, would it be better to have like computers that the center provides and then they just come and sign in and then leave?
Okay, this is a really great question. Okay, I have literally 4 minutes before I have to leave, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the last question here. But after I answer yours, so here's how that works. You have a profit center, a revenue stream within your centers that you may not know about. You can sell computers we sell them for $269 in our center. You get those for about $230. The price may fluctuate a little bit depending on the how many we can get and purchase at a time, but roughly it's $230. So that's a little bit of a profit margin there that you can make. Also, you can rent those computers. You can set up, say, 20 computers in your center and rent those out for an additional $25 a month, or the kid can bring their own computer. Now, the curriculum is not online. So just so that you know, the tools that we use are in the cloud. Everything, all the games that they're going to be building are online so that the kids can show off and show their parents, their friends, their next door neighbor, and really brag about it online. But the curriculum itself stays in the center. We want to make sure those kids are coming back to the center, getting the help they need, and going through the program at our pace and under our control. So that's a great question. It's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about how the program works is that our curriculum, our core, is not online. Now, let's say we did put it online later. What we would do is we would limit the use of that curriculum through IP addresses and things like that to the centers themselves. So even if we do decide to put all that material online one day, we will still limit it to being useful within our center. But it's a great question. This is going to be our last question here.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. And the question I had, what are some of the things you look for to have a good fit for the franchisee?
That's great. I definitely want to come to your grand opening. Is that okay?
Yes.
I love Vegas. What a great franchisee looks like to me is somebody that, ideally has some kind of business experience. Technology is going to be great. That's just like the unicorn, right? What we really look for is somebody that we know that can follow a program. What we've done here is not by accident. We didn't just stumble into these methodologies. We researched them. We did our homework. We went through the paces. We trial and errored it in our own center. Now we know what's going to work, and we really look for somebody that just wants to follow that program and make it better where they can, but hone in on what we've already given you in the process. That's going to be super important. I would say that most franchisees that do not go through successfully, it's because they didn't follow the program. So we really want to make sure that our franchisees, especially these early ones, really adopt our vision and follow, what we're putting out there. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Great. All right, guys, I really appreciate everybody's time. I am actually going to have to jump off here and go to another call, but Marty is going to wrap up. As I was saying, the last 2 weeks have been amazing. I have seen so much fire and energy out of our team, out of the franchisees, out of the people who are just interested, like you guys jumping on these calls. Marty, you want to go ahead and pick up where I'm right here and talk about next steps?
Yeah, so we get a lot of questions on what are the next steps and the process and how long it takes and what they look like. First, if you've never spoken to your contact here at Code Ninjas, which would be myself or Jeff Thames, you definitely want to get in contact with us through our email or our phone number that we can get in touch with you. If you don't have that, you can just email me at marty@codeninjas.com, and I can get you connected with Jeff, or obviously we can connect. The timeline, the process, we've seen things go as fast as 45 days. We love that as a benchmark if you're interested in moving forward quickly. We've had a lot of individuals purchasing their territories before attending Discovery Day, some at Discovery Day, some just after Discovery Day. That is really, your choice and depending on your market availability. The Dallas market, Las Vegas market, Irvine, California, the Orange County area, those markets are really having a lot of interest right now, along with Houston and Austin. So if you do have questions, please get in touch with myself or Jeff. We would love the opportunity to connect with you further. We have everything systematically in place for you, so it's just kind of following that process. And we have these learning channels, like today, the CEO call, connecting with Jeff and myself, coming to Discovery Day, which our next Discovery Day will be at our new corporate office and our center that's in Pearland, Texas on July 13th. If you have more questions, please reach out to us. I want to thank everybody for joining today, and have a great rest of your week.